If we believe we're a victim, we're going to feel like crap. And then we're going to have an identity. We're going to build an identity around being a victim, which is going to make sure that that thing is trapped in the energy body. That emotion has to be triggered over and over and over again until it's released, because the emotion is actually trying to escape. It's trying to get away because it doesn't belong to you. That can only form when we consistently have our attention or our energy on lack. And then debt is an accumulation of lack. Now, mind you, lack is the only thing that doesn't exist in the universe, because you're always abundant. The only question is, what are you choosing with your focus and your feeling to be abundant in?
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the awakened, fifth dimensional, emotionally regulated version of myself. That's right. Because as today's guest always reminds us, we are all one. All one. And if that's true, then today, you're not just listening to a guest, you're remembering yourself. If you're ready to stop reacting, start creating, and return to the knowing that you are whole and complete right now where you are, then this episode is your invitation. It's an absolute honor to welcome to the podcast author of Creation is Finished and the guiding force for the leaders of New Earth, the one and only Pete Sapper.
That was an Arsenio Hall worthy introduction. Thank you, sir. That was amazing. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the honor. Thank you for the honor, sir. It's wonderful to interact with you, and it's wonderful to be with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Pete. So, Pete, you often say that nothing is outside of us, and that our outer experiences are a reflection of our inner state of consciousness. How can someone practically apply that truth in its fullest essence when they're dealing with conflict, such as fear or even trauma in their current reality?
Okay, so fear is ignorance of self. Fear is the forgetting that that this is a movie and that you're the director, writer, and the main actor. That's what fear is. It's we can only feel fear when we're in a state of spiritual amnesia. That means we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten that we're the one that created this whole situation, and that we are the whole situation. So imagine if we're talking about a movie, you are you're all the actors. You're the screenwriter. You're the director, you're the choreographer, you're playing all roles. And Neville Goddard used to say, as Neville Goddard used to say, he said, God plays all parts. And so our awareness of that is going to be reflected on the outside. So the outside world really is a mirror to mirror back to us the awareness of who we are as the creator, or our unawareness of who we are as the creator. If we know who we are, the world's going to reflect it. If we don't know who we are, the world will definitely reflect it.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I get that. I mean, kind of like how I interpret it is that, like, if you desire to live like royalty, pretty much as an example, like if you desire to live like royalty, then just be that way. Like, as you teach, be as you want to feel as you want to be, right here, right now, in every present moment. Right. And so, as an example, like a person who is living in royalty would likely be OCD and acutely aware of how things are placed throughout their home, within their home, right? So if you want to manifest a beautiful dream home, then right now in this present moment, you should be taking care of your current space with gratitude, making sure that everything is neatly put away, neatly compartmentalized, right? And treat it with pride, keep it neat, just as if you would if you did have that dream home that you truly envision.
Yes, sir. Our ability to appreciate the small things now is really especially important in actually aligning with the big things that we desire to attract. So, I mean, this is an incredible insight. If everyone will remember that our ability to appreciate the small things we have in our life, or the things that we're grateful for in our life, aligns us with the frequency of the version of us that has all of the big things that we desire to experience. And all these things, like I said, are within us now. So the more we can align with the version of us that has already achieved all these things, And the less we can think that we have to do things to get to that thing, and it's all about aligning with the frequency that the version of you that is experiencing the royalty, living like royalty, is already living on, because that thing exists within you right now. All you have to do is vibrationally align with that version of you, and you do that by starting with being super grateful. Gratitude is the secret to manifesting anything. If you can be grateful for what you have now, so let's say I want to manifest a Ferrari. The best way to do that is to be grateful for my, Volkswagen or whatever I'm driving. And I mean, be truly grateful, and then drive the Volkswagen like as if it was a Ferrari, right? And imagine that it was a Ferrari. And that's doing that is what vibrationally aligns you with that version of you that is driving a Ferrari.
Absolutely. Bingo.
Yeah.
Right on the money. All right. Awesome. So you say that feelings are a perpetual state of being. And then emotions, on the other hand, are meant to only last about 90 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds. They kind of just, in and out like the wind, right? Can you explain how we unknowingly trap these emotions that's only supposed to last 90 seconds and we transmute them into this long-term state of feelings or so-called grudges, right? And then how do we reverse this cycle?
Okay, so all negative, I'm assuming we're talking about negative emotions. So we got to look at the root of the word emotion it just means energy in motion. Okay, so it's literally energy passing through your physical vessel. All right, and when it comes to negative emotions, they all are generated by two things. Number one, we've forgotten who we are as the creator, because that's the only way you could have a negative emotion, is because you're perceiving the situation and yourself improperly. That's what negative emotion literally is. It's a signal that is telling you, it's a signal from your higher self. Your emotional guidance system is like a telephone line to your higher self, a telephone line to God. And when we feel a negative emotion, it literally means that we're perceiving the situation or ourself, both of which are the same thing, because the situation is yourself. Remember, you're the movie, the director, and the actor shooting the movie. You're everything all at once. So you're perceiving yourself in the situation improperly. That's what the negative emotion is. It's like an alarm that says, hey, you're perceiving this improperly. Okay, that's what a negative emotion literally means. And then so once we have a negative emotion, and we have the awareness that means we're perceiving something improperly. If we can adjust our perception properly and hold the proper perception that we're the creator, that negative emotion will dissipate and it will go away. However, if we continue to believe that the situation is because we're being victimized, then we're going to feel like a victim. And feeling like a victim does not feel good. And the reason it doesn't feel good is because it is a false perception of ourselves. So negative emotions, literally, there's two things that have to happen. Number one, you have to believe, and notice I said believe, and all beliefs are lies. The tangible knowing that we are all moving towards is that we are the creator. But until we know, we're going to use beliefs, and those beliefs are typically negative, and they've been acquired by the world, okay, by a very low collective consciousness and a very low state of awareness. So if we believe we're a victim, we're going to feel like crap. And then we're going to have an identity. We're going to build an identity around being a victim, which is going to make sure that that thing is trapped in the energy body. That emotion has to be triggered over and over and over again until it's released, because the emotion is actually trying to escape. It's trying to get away because it doesn't belong to you, because all negative emotions are low frequency. And you are a high frequency being. You're a supremely high frequency being. So the more you can gain awareness of who you are as the creator, as a supremely high frequency energy being, temporarily having a low frequency experience, the less you will ever experience negative emotions. And this is one of the biggest ways that we drain energy, because like I said, energy in motion is emotion. This is one of the biggest ways that we drain energy, because every time we get triggered emotionally, we're bleeding that life force that we could be using to create heaven on earth. We are bleeding that life force into the false matrix by believing we're a victim, that we're being victimized, or someone's doing something to us, which, by the way, is never the case. Life is never happening to us. It's always happening for us and through us. It's literally happening through us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, like, it's almost like that victim, mentality. It's like if you can just break through that victim anchor that's like holding us down, mentally, you just got to break through that. And it's almost like once you're able to break through that, then you can start to emphasize more on the importance of the art of forgiveness. Now you're no longer a victim. So now you can actually see it within your heart to forgive, and stop holding these grudges or whatnot, right? As in, we will encounter the same negative experiences, like you said, time and time again, like a revolving door. And the only way to truly break that cycle is forgiving, snapping out of victimhood and forgiving and giving unconditional love to all. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. But let's just pause and take a quick moment just so that we can imagine a 24-hour natural-based hospital where healing is ancient wisdom, seamlessly integrated with modern advanced technology, designed to become the gold standard in holistic healthcare. Welcome to Perfect Purpose International Research Center, the first of its kind, rooted in transparency, growth, and transformation. We're inviting those who believe in a healthier, more purposeful future to collaborate, become shareholders, or donate to our building this life-changing movement. If your heart is aligned with this vision, please email your proposal to Oaktree within the Acorn at gmail.com. To donate and help us ignite this purpose, click the link in the description below. So many people are emotionally tied to this illusion of debt, right? The word debt, this spell casting word, debt, right? Why do you say we should completely eliminate that word debt? And what happens energetically when we do release and eliminate the word debt?
Yeah, so what we are is a walking asset. Okay, we are a walking asset. You are literally a walking asset to this planet. It's why you were created. You have a intricate piece to the puzzle of this entire thing, okay? Because everything is one thing. And so every aspect of that one thing is extremely valuable. So Ashton has a skill, a talent, and ability that nobody else on this planet has. He has a role that's been assigned to him before he even incarnated that only he can do. And our ability to come together and create heaven on earth is our ability to align with what we do the best and align that to what the world needs, okay? So once we find that out, the first thing we need to do is, okay, we need to understand what our contribution is. Remember, you have a unique contribution that nobody else can fulfill that role, okay? That you're indispensable. So number one, the way we generate that is number one, we start perceiving money that we've spent as a loss, okay? So the way we generate that is we spend money on something, okay, which is money is just energy and it's infinite. It's all around us. We've been conditioned into lack and scarcity, and we've been conditioned into it's not enough. We need to come out of that. The entire world is energy, and money is energy. You're an energy being. There's never a time when there's actually a lack of energy or money. And so we've been so trauma-based mind control into lack. And so debt can only form when we consistently have our attention or our energy on the lack. And then debt is an accumulation of lack. Now, mind you, lack is the only thing that doesn't exist in the universe because you're always abundant. The only question is, what are you choosing with your focus and your feeling to be abundant in? If you're choosing with your focus and your feeling to have it trained on lack, then you're choosing to be abundant in lack. And this is the big plague. And my whole, a huge part, I don't want to say my whole function here, but a huge part of my function here is to awaken people out of this perception of lack. It's the only thing that doesn't exist in the universe, but because you're so powerful, you can actually bring into existence something that doesn't exist with your focus, your attention, which is your attention, and your feeling. Because when we focus on lack, we're going to feel lack in our body, and whatever we feel and sustain that feeling on is going to become our reality. Okay, that's going to become our state of being. And whatever energy we are holding, whatever frequency we are holding within our energy body, we become a container of. We emanate that frequency out to the universe, and it gets reflected back. And our life is only a result of the frequency that we're emanating consistently to the universe. The universe is reflecting that frequency back. And so what we need to do is stop perceiving debt, okay? There's no such thing as debt. There's money that we spent, and it might be an accumulation of money that we spent that we're in the red. But the moment we start to see ourselves as an inexpendable asset, an indispensable asset, and we align what we're with what we're supposed to be doing here, there will be nothing but assets. Okay, we have to take our attention off of lack, stop creating it in our experience, and then we will see that it's an illusion, and we're creating that illusion because you're, like I said, I'll repeat this, you're so powerful, you can actually bring the one thing that doesn't exist in this abundant universe, which is lack, you can actually bring that into existence because that's how powerful you are.
Exactly. Yeah, that's mind blowing. Absolutely. That's freaking mind blowing. So you've called depression past focus, and then anxiety is future focus, right? So what's the simplest way someone can anchor themselves back into the present when their mind is trying to time travel?
Yeah, so understand that there is no past or future. Those are concepts born of an unawakened mind. So our higher self is projecting us into space-time. And it's literally projecting a different frame of the movie. Remember I said this is a movie? It's the best analogy I can use. You're a human avatar, which is not what you are. You are your higher self. You're an aspect of your higher self. Like a tentacle of an octopus, you're an aspect of your higher self. The higher self is projecting you into space-time in every millisecond. In every one millionth of a second, it is regenerating a new avatar. So you are literally new. In every millisecond, there's a new version of you being projected into space-time, okay? Because the only moment that exists in all of eternity is now. The only thing that is changing is the perspective from which that now moment is being viewed at. And then that creates the experience of time. As we shift perception, it creates the illusion of movement and the experience of time. So the moment that ever exists is the infinite eternal now. And then we create the idea of past and future. And then when we do that, we create an illusion with our mind of ruminating of an experience we had, and we take ourselves back into the past. And this eventually, if we keep doing this, creates the experience of depression. Rumination will guaranteed create the experience of depression, because typically what we're doing that for is that we regret something that happened in the so-called past, which doesn't exist, right? Yeah. You're born anew. So our ability to get out of the past, which is rumination, or the worrying, which is using your imagination to create what you don't want, which results in anxiety. Our ability to break out of the illusion of time is key here, and to understand that it's always now. And in this now, you can create anything you desire. But we have to be centered in the now. We cannot be in the concepts of past and future because they don't exist. There's no power there. All of your power to create as a creator, to align with the version of you that has all of the life that you want, your ability to do that can only be happening in the present moment. And you can only think about, let's say, even if we are ruminating or projecting anxiety into the future, worrying, even if we're doing that, we can only think of the past or future from now. Okay, so we're always in the infinite eternal now. Our awareness of how aware we are that it's always now is really going to determine how much anxiety and or depression we experience. Those are huge energy wasters. Those two things, rumination and anxiety. And so the best way to work ourselves out of this state of spiritual amnesia is to stop creating the concepts, stop becoming delusional and creating the concepts of past and future, and understand that it's always now. And in this now moment, you can create anything by aligning with the version of you that already has it. By, like Ashton said, be how you want to feel how you want to be. I teach it a little bit differently. It's assume it, feel it, know it. But either way, when you generate the state of being of the version of you that's already achieved everything that you desire, because that version of you already exists, creation is finished. When you align vibrationally with that version of you, you can only do that in the present moment. Okay, so if we can gain awareness that now is where all the power is, we will never come out of the present moment. If we understood the power of the present moment, we would never leave it.
Bingo. All right, perfect. You teach that we should view the world as one and feel genuinely grateful for other people's wins. Okay, so how do we shift from competition to collaboration, especially in a world conditioned to compare, right? We are in a world of the digital age. It's, YouTube, it's Instagram, it's TikTok, and we're viewing other people in their glory day, and so it's easy for people that's not in their glory day, right? Maybe they're in a bit of a struggle right now where they're trying to make their way up in life, right? But they get caught up in this false illusion of social media, you know? So again, how do we shift from competition to collaboration, especially in a world conditioned to compare?
Uh, the short answer is to see through the illusion of separation. There's only one thing. There's only one thing here. There's only one being experiencing itself through billions of different perspectives. Everything is one thing. The all is in the one, and the one is in the all. This is one of the 5 laws of the universe. So our ability to see past the illusion of separation, it's just an illusion. All separation is an illusion. There's only one being here having all these different experiences and relationships with itself. So there are no others. Okay, this is one of the biggest, greatest illusions that's of all of creation, is that there are others here. There are no others, and when you realize that, and you understand that everyone is you, is, as Neville Goddard used to say, everyone is you pushed out. Everyone is you literally projected out, because you're not really a person. That's also an illusion. This whole thing is a realm of illusions. When you understand that they're all you, and their success is your success, when you align with, when you understand that, you have full awareness of that, you start to vibrationally align. So envy starts turning into a happiness for your success, and that aligns you vibrationally with the version of you that has what they have. There's nothing that anybody has right now. I don't care if it's Bill Gates or freaking what's his name, Elon Musk, or whoever is a billionaire. There's nothing that they have that you can't have. Your ability to align with the vibrational version of you that is living their life is the key to it. And the way you do that is by celebrating other people's success. This is the biggest secret of manifestation that nobody ever talks about. I don't hear anybody talk about. But when you truly understand how manifestation really works, it's not the secret. The secret is like 1% of how manifestation really works. When you understand how manifestation really works, it has to be rooted on everything is one thing. Because if we're starting from any place other than the knowledge that everything is one thing, that everything is you, pushed out, in the words of Neville Goddard, we're going to be starting from the basis of a foundation of a lie, that we're going to believing in the illusion of separation. Therefore, the things that we desire to experience are outside of ourselves or in our future. This is false. Everything you need is within you now. And now I'm going to blow your mind with this one. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
By the way, you asked such amazing questions. I want to bring awareness to that. You're asking me questions nobody else has asked me, and you're such a brilliant guy. So thank you for that. Thank you for providing the right platform. And remember, you're creating every word that's coming out of my mouth. Nobody's teaching you anything, right? You're just remembering what you already know. Everything has already happened. Now, if you can wrap your head around this, which you're not going to be able to, by the way, you're not going to be able to wrap your human finite mind around it, which is okay, because your creator doesn't have a finite mind. It has a higher mind. And that higher mind is actually you. So generating the illusion that you're a human person. Everything's already happened. Nothing ever happens. Everything has already happened. Okay. That's what Creation is Finished, my book, is talking about. Time is an illusion. Everything has already happened. Your ability to align with the awareness that everything has already happened, that the movie has already been shot, it's already in the can, the book has already been written. We're just on page 67 right now. I'm going to page 68. Your ability to understand that will align you vibrationally with a version of you that is at the end of the movie or has already achieved everything you desire to achieve. Okay, it'll move you in that direction, that align you with that version of you in a much more expedient manner. And then you won't suffer as much, understanding that you already are everything you desire to be. This is the most important thing. The most important way to align with the version of us that already has everything that we desire to have, the life that we desire to experience, is our awareness that we already are everything that we desire to be. You already are everything you desire to be. And there's nothing you need to do to be that. If you just simply let go and allow your life to happen, the flow will take you exactly where you need to go. Resistance does not exist. It is created. We resist against our own life plan because everything, your entire life has already been blueprinted and set up. And the flow of life is already taking you where you need to go. And if we're able to be present with what is right in front of us now, because that's the only thing that's important, by the way. The only thing that's important right now in my life is Ashton and whoever's watching this video. There will never come a time where there's anything more important than what's in front of us right now. If we can be fully present for what's right now, rather than ruminating about the past, so-called past, or projecting anxiety into the future. If we can be completely present with what is here and now, we'll be able to access the resources that will take us to the next step on our in our movie, the next big chapter in our movie. And that's always happening with or without our participation. And we are most powerful. This is going to be another huge insight. We are most powerful when we let go of control.
Wow. I feel that. So that is basically like when you let go of control, such as if I look into my bank account right now and I see it's full of zeros, right? Full of zeros. I can go into full-blown panic mode and I can try to take control over rectifying this bank account of zeros. Or I can already know that creation is already finished. What I desire, I already have it. And then voila, you open up a door of flow state. Everything effortlessly comes to you the moment that you stop chasing.
Correct. If we look into our bank account, now this is one of the biggest mistakes. We're so conditioned into lack, okay? Our bank account number means nothing. You have an infinite supply of money available to you at all times. Your awareness that you have an infinite supply of money available to you at all times is going to give you access to that. You see, when we look at a bank, so let's say I'm going to open my bank account and I see, I'm negative or I'm very low in money or whatever. And then I use that bank account, that number, that random number, that ones and zeros, and I decide that now I'm perceiving an experience of lack. That is exactly what I will generate in my experience. Your bank account, what's in your bank account means nothing. The richest people on this planet know never to hold on to money. They know to keep it flowing because that's what generates more of it. That's why they're always giving money to charities that they don't care about, like psychopathic billionaires are giving money to charities. They don't do that because they're generous. They do that because they understand how money works. The more you flow, the more you accumulate. Okay, this is the concept of flow. It's where the concept of tithing 10% from religion comes from. This is the way that we generate a flow of abundance that keeps accumulating, okay? Because whatever notion we give birth to, the universe acts like a mirror and amplifier of whatever notion we're giving birth to. So if we're giving birth to the notion of giving, and remember, giving, everything is one thing, so giving and receiving is one thing. Whatever you give, you will receive. So if I'm constantly giving money to a great cause, with me, it's ASPCA or some type of cause that takes care of animals. If I'm constantly giving money to a cause, the universe will mirror and amplify that vibration of generosity and contribution, and it will bring that back. And these are secrets of money that the elite know. They all understand this. This is why billionaire psychopaths are giving millions of dollars to a charity. It's not because they're kind-hearted. Psychopaths only care about themselves. That's why they were created, and they do their job very well. They play their role very well. They understand how summoning energy works and how to multiply energy, and that's why they do it. They understand these things, and my job in this incarnation is to bring this awareness to everybody who right now is having an experience of lack. That's literally why I exist, is to remind you that you are infinite abundance. You are always 100% abundant. The only question ever is, what are we choosing with our focus and our feeling to be abundant in? And if we really just get that, what I just said, then we will experience abundance guaranteed.
Boom. Wow. All right. So you've emphasized the power of attention, and then that whatever we place it on is what we become a container for. So how can people become more conscious curators of their attention in a distracted world? So basically, like, what can they do to make sure that they're focused on putting their attention in the right place in a world that's so distracted? Like it's so many distractions in this world. How can we stay focused and make sure that we're keeping our attention in the right place that's going to give us or bring us closer to our desires?
That's such a brilliant question, and you're such a brilliant guy. I'm not surprised. So here's what we need to do. We need to understand that the reason we're allowing our focus to be pulled in all these different directions is because we don't understand how valuable it is. It is literally the most valuable thing on the planet is our energy, because our energy is how we create our reality, and the way we funnel our energy, the way that we point our energy into a certain direction of what we desire to experience is with our attention or our focus. Okay, our ability to sustain focus is really the only thing we need to do to master creating reality. To become a master creator, all you really need to do is know who you are, and then once you know who you are, you start using your sustained focus on what you desire to experience. Earl Nightingale said, "The strangest secret is what you think about is what you become." That was a good understanding for the time. I'll give you a much better understanding. What we focus on, what we sustain focus on, is what we become. So the reason we're getting distracted and having our attention, which is our energy, placed in all these different directions, and believe me, this matrix, this false matrix that we're experiencing, because it's generated by our unawareness of who we are as the creator, and the degree to which we're not understanding that we're the creator, we're going to generate a false matrix, an inverted matrix where the power is all outside of us. So our ability to understand that we're the creator, and that wherever we create, wherever we focus our attention on and sustain it there, we're going to become a container of. Once we're becoming a container of it, we're going to emanate that frequency to the universe. The universe is going to reflect it back, and that'll be our experience. So the reason we're getting distracted is we don't understand how valuable our life force is. It's the only valuable thing we own. It's not the house that we own. It's not the car that we own. It's not the girlfriend that we have, or the boyfriend, or the husband or wife. Or the only valuable thing we own, the thing that created all those things that we're enjoying in our lives as valuable, is the only thing that's valuable, which is our energy. And whatever you sustain your attention on is what you are calling forth into your experience.
Wow. And people don't even realize that. It's like they're like, what do you call it? Like, it's like they're unconsciously just creating a lot of just negative reactions into their life, time after time after time, and playing this victim role. And they don't even understand that you are the one that's responsible for creating this rain on your parade, so they say, right? It's insane.
Absolutely. And our ability to understand that we're the creator, and that wherever we place our attention on is what we're going to call forth into our experience. That's literally how we create our reality. We create our reality by harnessing our desire, our intention, and our attention, and placing that, focusing all those three on one, whatever it is that we desire to experience. That's going to be called forth into our reality. And so anybody who's watching this, please watch this again and again and again until it shakes the awakening in you. That this is the most important thing: our ability to develop self-control and self-discipline over where we place our attention or our focus.
Absolutely. So you said that reaction, right? Like when we react to people, to traumas that we experience. Let's say somebody cut us off in traffic. We can choose to react in a negative way and just go from 0 to 100 real quick, right? So it's like, you've said that reaction doesn't necessarily come from that current moment of getting cut off, and then you're reacting to that moment right there. But the reaction actually stems from a previous lifetime, So can you expand on this as far as like how reactions come from previous lifetime imprints, and then explain how we can finally clear those old energies and move forward without them?
Yeah, so anytime we react, we recreate. Okay, so I'm not gonna make this like drawn out into past lifetimes and stuff. The way to release the energies that are trapped in the energy body currently is to stop reacting. Okay, stop reacting to anything, because reacting is recreating. This is the simplest understanding of how we can release trapped energies in our body that don't belong there. And those energies are trying to leave, by the way. The reason they don't leave is because we keep holding on to them by reacting and then recreating. Okay, so reacting is recreating is the only thing you need to know. What I'm known for is simplifying concepts that other teachers make, mind-bogglingly complicated. So the way I'm going to simplify this, and if you just understand this, you will stop engaging in this unconscious activity of reacting to anything around you. Number one, the only reason we react is because we don't know we're the creator. Okay, which creates a feeling of helplessness and powerlessness, which is then causes this reaction, which then recreates what we don't want. Okay, so reacting is recreating what we don't want. Responding to any situation that's in front of you is what a creator does, and they can only do that. You can only respond from the awareness that you're the creator. You're the one that's creating everything around you. And the moment we understand we're the creator, we stop reacting to the things around us. So, I mean, this is the most simple to understand way to start developing mastery is to understand that whatever we react to, we recreate, we regenerate it in our experience. So when we understand that, there's no reason to react anymore. When we understand we're the creator, we're creating everything in our experience. There's no longer a reason to get triggered and then become reactive. This is when we're not masterful. We're very reactionary. So what we want to do is respond from the present moment awareness that we are the creator. I promise you that will change everything in your life.
We are the creators. Absolutely.
What is the thing that you like really are most passionate about? Is there a cause that you're most passionate about?
Absolutely. Great question. The cause that I'm most passionate about, honestly, is like is healing. To be 100%. I know I keep pounding the pavement with this hospital thing, but honestly, like the reason why I even got into naturopathy medicine is because I had a stepfather that passed away within 6 months after finding out that he had stage 4 throat cancer from smoking cigarettes his whole life, pretty much, right? And this man was a veteran. He was going to a Veteran Affairs hospital where they gave him top-notch treatment from the moment of conception of like finding out that he had this cancer within his body. And I mean, I was expecting miracles to happen, or at least a year, 2, 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like he's still sticking around with this medicine, this high-grade medicine that the VA Affairs hospital is giving this man. And I mean, it failed. And within 6 months, he was no longer here. So that really hurt me, and it triggered something within me, like a burning desire for me to kind of stand up and step into bold takeover, really, you know, with the medical industry, or at least contribute in a way that I can, you know, figure some things out to like save the people that's within my circle of influence, you know, and just give back, man. And I really would love to do this. I mean, of course, you know, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'll just say that, right? And there's a lot of poverty in Detroit. I'm sure you heard about it. And I know some things such as people with low grade health insurance don't get a fair shot at preventive health, at any sort of health care. You know, like they get the bottom of the barrel health care. It's almost like they're treated as if they're lab rats, you know? And I would love to have what I'm trying to give as far as natural health care almost for free to those that are indigent. You know, so if I can like figure out how I can get this hospital associated and registered maybe with sam.gov so that we're registered with the government, and maybe we can take advantage of government grants to kind of, you know, balance it out to where it can make sense, you know. But I do want to figure out some sort of troubleshooting that I can do to kind of figure out how we can kind of give a portion of this healthcare away to, you know, those that are less fortunate for free.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So the only insight I can share with you, and remember the insight's coming from you to you, is that if you match what you're good at, what you're really good at, what you're the best at, because there is something that you're the best at, and you could match that with what the world needs, you can't fail at that, because that's actually what you were created for.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna change direction a little bit. All right. We are pretty much at the very end, right? And I just kind of want to like talk to you a little bit, kind of explain the story of me, my lifestyle, and kind of like how I've lived for the last couple years, right? Like almost like a decade. And then kind of go into this very last question, right? So just as Wim Hof breathing techniques, and I've heard even you know, like teaching about that. And thank you so much for actually reminding me of those breathing techniques, because since I've heard them from you, I actually looked up Wim Hof and I actually started to do the breathing techniques myself. And I'm doing them probably like implementing right now, maybe like twice a week or something like that. So it's working beautifully. I instantly feel the medicine within it, right? By like the third round, second or third round of the breathing patterns and stuff like that. That's in this technique. And I can definitely feel it working to my benefit for sure. So just as Wim Hof breathing techniques and also meditation are ways of attuning the energy frequencies and regulating the central nervous system, I've discovered a tried and true attuning technique as well myself. Over the last 8 years, like I said, over almost a decade, I have been living as a vegan lifestyle, right? With this lifestyle, what I found personally is that has helped me. This has helped me personally when it becomes to being more clairvoyant, more energetically sound. And then also, I kind of feel like it has me aging with grace as well, you know? So not only has this lifestyle change increased my gut health as well, but it has also detoxed me energetically. And I've literally felt it regulating my central nervous system as well. From certain natural medicines, I feel like the foods are no different, you know, just like, you know, if we drink a tea of lavender, you know, it'll make us drowsy. I mean, there are certain properties that's within foods that can also like act just as the herbs act within us. You know, it can release certain medicinal properties or whatnot. So I've recently run across some analytical research that's been tracked and true that I would like to share. All right, so raw plant-based foods have been measured to exhibit high bioelectrical frequencies, with fresh fruits and vegetables giving as high as 150 megahertz. But by contrast, meat and processed foods exhibit frequencies below 7 megahertz or as low as 7 megahertz. The human body, when in optimal health, vibrates between 62 and 70 megahertz. So living foods provide an abundance of biophotons, which is light energy absorbed from the sun, which promotes cellular regeneration and higher consciousness and megahertz levels. Research into epigenetics and energy transfer suggests that emotions such as fear and distress become biochemically embedded in the tissues of animals at the time of death. And then when consumed by human beings, these energetic imprints transfer into the human body, potentially leading to heightened stress responses, emotional instability, and then also lower vibrational frequency and megahertz levels. From my view, we are all powerful creators, as you said, with the ability to create either positive or negative experiences. Whether we experience one or another is totally up to what we focus our attention on. And so, in a sense, we are fully kind of responsible for our day-to-day actions in order to stay in proper alignment with positive, reoccurring experiences. What are your thoughts, Pete, on the particular foods that we choose to indulge in, and then those foods' ability to create or to help us reach higher levels of self?
Yeah, so Ashton, what you were just talking about is very insightful. Okay, what kind of energy is in our food? Or if I'm eating a plant-based diet, that I'm putting high frequency energy. Now I want to take all the judgment out of this, right? I want to take all the moral judgment out of this. I want because it's not going to help anybody for us to put our moral judgments, our brainwashed, conditioned mind. Everybody's body functions differently. But I'll tell you, I'll just give you this understanding. Everything we put in our body carries a frequency. The question is, what is the frequency that we are putting in our body? Because we are aligning our energy with that frequency. So if we're putting high frequency foods like plant-based foods in our, and we all know what high frequency is because we can feel it when we put it in our body. What makes us feel high frequency? What lowers our frequency? Okay, so yes, it's true that meat is going to lower your frequency because it's a lower frequency thing. And this is why I don't use bufo. Let's use bufo for an example. Okay, bufo, for those people who don't know, is it comes from a frog. It's a toad venom, and it is a preparation of, it's a natural organic preparation of 5-MeO-DMT, but it comes from a frog. In order to get the frog, the toad, in order to get the 5-MeO-DMT out of the frog, you have to terrify the frog, and then it releases venom, right? So now let's use bufo versus synthetic 5-MeO-DMT as an example. The only reason I don't ever use toad venom, okay, me specifically, when I use this entheogen that a lot of people erroneously call it psychedelic. The only reason I use the synthetic is because I can feel, I'm so energetically sensitive, I can feel the frequency of the terror in the frog when I use the bufo preparation. So I only use the synthetic, and it's for that exact reason, that once especially for people who are really energetically sensitive, we can feel dissonant frequencies, discordant frequencies. So, I mean, Ashton, you're onto something really great when we understand that everything we put in our body contains a certain frequency. And the question is it aligning us with a higher frequency version of ourselves or a lower frequency version with ourselves? And there's no judgment for me or anyone else in this. It just, you align with whatever feels best for you.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Pete, for showing up today, for answering these questions, taking your time. The reflection and showing up as a reminder, the reflection, and the reset that so many of us needed, pretty much, I know that our audience is walking away with some breakthroughs and a deeper remembrance of themselves, of who they truly are. Before we wrap, I'd love to give you the space to share how people can stay connected with you.
Yeah, so the YouTube channel is Pete Sapper 144 or Pete Sapper Creation is Finished. The book is called Creation is Finished. You can get that on Amazon. And I would suggest that if people want to start understanding how helpful they are, they get that book, Creation is Finished, and awaken their consciousness. That book will awaken. That book carries a frequency all of its own that will awaken the understanding and the remembering of who they are as the creator. And then everything just happens. It's like the first domino that falls, and everything else happens on its own.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pete. And I can vouch for that. Creation is Finished. It's definitely a masterpiece. It definitely changed my life. Thank you so much for that, Pete. And thank you again for joining, man. It was great seeing you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome, sir. Brilliant guy. Thank you for bringing the best out of me. I appreciate you very much, Ashton.